Welcome to Captions on GE Cablevision, sponsored by the Community Action Agency. Your host for this evening is Community Action Agency Associate Director of Planning, Joanne Knight.
Good evening and welcome to Captions. I'm Joanne Knight, and on this evening's program our guests are Don Hollins and Rosie Smith from Community Action's Home Energy Assistance Program.
Good evening, this is Andre Bohannon. Welcome to a special edition of Captions. This week marks 35 years of broadcasting on the Peoria cable system starting on Channel 6, way back on June the 16th, 1975. Throughout those years, we've featured a lot of VIPs and notable people. We've talked about a lot of issues and covered a lot of programs. And tonight you'll see a lot of that as we go down memory lane. So we'll be bringing you this historical dialogue, and we'd like for you to stay tuned and as well as call some of your friends and neighbors. A lot of reminiscing may go back. A lot of the issues that we covered then are issues today. A lot of changes have taken place in our community and across the nation. Please stay tuned. Call your friends.
Well, I'd always believed that if you were going to help people, it starts with information. And all too often, traditional media, in my opinion, was not serving the needs of the entire community. And so there was a void that needed to be filled in terms of the communication gap between people who needed knowledge and information and those who were giving it. And at the same time, I also believed that there was a critical void in terms of opportunities for young people getting into the media. As you know, we also operated a local newspaper at that time. And so I saw newspaper, TV, radio, the whole array of media opportunities, something that was critically missing in the lives of low-income citizenry here. And we were fortunate enough to have a relationship with the state of Illinois wherein we were able to design a curriculum and a training program and tie it to the launch of the show such that the young people from the neighborhood was going to get a training experience, they were going to get paid, so we were creating jobs, work experience, and addressing the media void at the same time. So it was a win-win for everybody in my judgment.
Richard, on behalf of the Community Action family, we would like to present you with a copy of the program that we presented last night on Captions.
Thank you, and I'm very grateful. And I really enjoyed this show. I saw it on television too, and I'm glad to have this tape. I'll keep it forever. And I just love you back very much. I'm surprised and happy. I was really happy. I never had nothing like this happen to me in my life, and especially in Peoria. That makes me real happy. Thank you very much.
If you feel in your heart there's something you could do, don't ever doubt that, and don't let nobody talk you out of it or no feeling. Change that, the reality of what you feel in your heart, and you live with that and believe in that. Trust that no matter what. And people say you're crazy or you're doing foolish things with your life, but the art world is a very fragmented, and you have to give it some kind of dedication, and it will pay off sooner or later, some sooner, some later, and you just work at it and have faith in yourself.
There is nothing as stimulating to me as to see black people working together, united around a common goal, and daring to believe in themselves in a world that teaches us not only not to believe in ourselves, but to in fact hate ourselves. So to come all the way here and to see such a unified community and such a self-conscious community, even in this context. I mean, I know it's always something that could go wrong, something that people are not doing, something that's, it's the same way all over. But what we must do is seize on the positive. And we must give people credit for what they do so that they will, in fact, be inspired by them.
I think, if anything, it's going to be a great fight because I'm friends with both fighters, so it's quite difficult for me to be objective or even be critical of those guys. I just hope, I'm sure the best man will win. Quite naturally, if Michael Spinks should be victorious, it would be somewhat unprecedented because there's never been a light heavyweight fighter that was able to gain a heavyweight crown. On the other hand, with Larry Holmes, I think that will make him tie with Rocky Marciano's record, 49-0, if I'm not mistaken. So I think there is a lot to be gained for both fighters.
What would you say to young people become the more common stumbling blocks? Frequently what I hear, it is not so much that we can't find somebody with a decent voice, it's their head's not on right. What do they mean by that?
Preparation. They're not prepared. They're not prepared for what they have to deal with when they get out here. They're not prepared for the glamorous side, and they're not prepared for the business side. Most young people that jump off into the music industry, some people get early breaks. Mm-hmm. The majority of the people are out here working, which is what it's all primarily about. It's about working. Being a star, you know, quote unquote, that's another thing. But what it's all about is working. And it doesn't matter whether you're a star or you've gotten 1,000 hits. You got to work.
We are faced with insurmountable opportunities. Now, you got to think about that one for a minute, but that's the way the country is in a sense. For 2 years now, in the last election since, we've heard Americans in record numbers saying that the Republican Party is the party of the future. And as a result, in the last election, we established a new political rule. You remember the old one, as goes Maine, so goes the nation. And the new one is, as goes Minnesota, so goes the District of Columbia. And we intend to keep it just that way.
Today, while the rest of the country celebrates the recovery, Illinois is still waiting for the end of the recession that started in 1982. In fact, we never recovered from the one in 1975.
Racism is alive and doing well in the United States of America. And I don't know where you will see and whom you will see. But where is the press? You get me on television. Get me. I want to tell you. I want you to put it in the paper, and you can put it on TV because I want white to know it.
This leadership, therefore, must bring in a new discipline of mind and spirit, because the nature of our adversary has changed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Lastly, whereas we were concerned in 1955 about dignity and sitting on the front of a bus,
Chicago made use of $9.2 million in urban development action grants. With the elimination of this program, our budget office estimates the loss of 1,500 jobs and $50 to $60 million in private funds leveraged, 10 to 1. You can't get that mailed any place, not even in Las Vegas. 10 to 1. Let's find odds. For every buck the government puts up, the private sector comes up with 10 and helps us develop